Alright guys, so here are two kind of common mistakes I guess that I see some people making. And the first one is going to be if I wanted to take the first derivative of this, part A, and the mistake I'm seeing a lot of people make is with a product rule. And so, basically the theme of this whole lesson today is going to be parentheses. And basically the rule is, if you have a question about putting parentheses somewhere, just put them there. Like if you think they might go there, put them there, because the more parentheses you have, the better. With this case, I could put parentheses there around my 2x. That's how I like to do it. You'd put a parentheses around the 2, or the 2 and then times x times y. But what I see a lot of people doing is, they'll say, okay, this is 2, the derivative of x is 1, y, plus, and then all of a sudden they'll forget about the x and times dy over dx. And this doesn't work because this 2 needs to go everywhere, so it needs to be in all of the derivatives. So if we make sure we use parentheses, then we should avoid that mistake that I just said. So again, like I said, I like to put my parentheses 2x times y and think of it that way. So the derivative of 2x is just 2y, or 2 and then times y, plus then I have the 2x by itself times the derivative of y is 1 dy over dx equals 0, and then we can go ahead and solve that. But the main thing is just, if we notice with a product rule that we have a coefficient, just make sure that coefficient is present everywhere. And sometimes, if you have like a squared, then it might, turn to 4, but at some point, that number or a factor of that number is everywhere. Then, the second mistake I'm seeing a lot of is with quotient rule, and again, just same thing with the parentheses. So, put the parentheses everywhere where you need them. So in this case, we'd be doing the second derivative, so d squared y dx squared. And remember, the rule is low times d higher, the derivative of the high, minus high d low over low squared. And with this, what you can do is you can go ahead and just add a parentheses around every single term, and that'll really help you guys out. And so this would become, the low is x plus y times 2x plus, another mistake is sometimes people forget to do 2y times dy over dx. So remember, it's still implicit. Minus, but notice how I have parentheses in both of these places. Minus now high, x squared plus y squared. D low would be 1 plus dy over dx. All divided by x plus y squared. Okay. Then the last place where we really want to make sure we're also putting in parentheses is when we substitute this dy over dx, put a parentheses around that. So this whole thing is going to get its own parentheses when we substitute it in. I've noticed people not doing that, and so their answer just it becomes wrong because they're not multiplying correctly. So x plus y times 2x plus 2. Now add another parentheses, so if you want to make that first one a bracket, you can. X squared plus y squared over x plus y minus x squared plus y squared times, again, we'll have a bracket, 1 plus x squared plus y squared over x plus y. And that's all divided by x plus y squared. And now we're ready to distribute, but just make sure you have those parentheses first so that when you get ready to distribute, we don't make any mistakes. So this will be, this x plus y goes to the 2x, and it goes over there, so it'll be 2x times x plus y plus, now here they cancel, 2x squared plus y squared minus, and again, now this whole term will go to both places. So 1 times just x squared plus y squared. And we also need to make sure that we distribute. One more mistake I saw is this negative sign needs to come with it. So it won't be plus, but it will be minus. And then be careful, x squared plus y squared does not cancel out with the x squared plus y, the x plus y on the bottom. Actually, it's the same thing on top. So one thing that you guys could do, which would actually be smarter, would be to multiply those on top and make it x squared plus y squared squared over x plus y. And again, this is still all divided by x plus y squared. And now we notice we have a fraction, and we can't have a fraction inside of a fraction. So we need to multiply the top and the bottom by this denominator. And this is, again, where I notice parentheses can really help us out. So we're going to put a parentheses around the whole numerator and the whole denominator. And we'll multiply both by this x plus y term. So we're multiplying the whole thing by x plus y, which means that goes to every single term. So we'll get 2x, and then it'll be x plus y squared plus 2 times x plus y times x squared plus y squared, those are different, minus x plus y times x squared plus y squared, again they're different. Now, these are the same, so we can't end up subtracting them. And then now finally, that will cancel, and we'll get minus x squared plus y squared squared, all divided by x plus y. Now it was squared, but times another one makes it cubed. And like I said, we did have one like term in the numerator, so that's a 1 there. So 2 minus 1 is 1. So this will be 2x times x plus y squared minus 2 times x, minus, we said this was plus 2 minus 1 would be plus x plus y times x squared plus y squared minus x squared plus y squared all squared, all divided by x plus y cubed. And that was kind of a tricky simplifying with the algebra, but like I said, I think the way that we can work on fixing some of these mistakes is just by adding parentheses everywhere just possible and then distributing out. So have a good night, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow in class.